Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show for Friday, April 18th, 2025. Welcome to another eBay video. Today I'm going to be discussing this week in eBay, and it's been a very slow and trying week. Mother of Christ on the cross in Brooklyn. I am absolutely shocked how slow it is, in spite of all the avenues that I'm using to try and promote my items. This weekend that just passed, I had a 20% off sale store-wide. In addition, I had a 15% eBay coupon with the banner right on top. I was one of the eBay Motors sellers that was invited to participate. In addition to that, I was promoting my listings at 7.5%. I swear to Jesus, I think that something is really wrong with search. Don't tell me the buyers are scared about the stock market. That's hogwash. Something's wrong, guys. I've been selling for 26 years. 26 years. I know the tempo of the marketplace, all right? In addition, Saturday that just passed, I did another big buyout. I bought a lot of hot stuff, and I've been listing it. I started off slowly because we had cloudy days for the first 4 or 5 days. We had one sunny day all week, which was Thursday. Took a lot of pictures. I mean, these are hot numbers. Back in the old days, I would have had at least offers immediately. I've sold nothing. Nothing. There were some days I had more returns than sales. Christ Jesus, what kind of world is this? These people are so stupid. But I'm going to tell you a few stories regarding returns that's definitely going to make you guys smile. In addition, I want to give you an update about cancellations that I did not accept. I want to tell you about sales that I'm being promised immediate payment for that I'm not getting paid at all. I want to talk about a really bad seller and a bunch of other things, if time permits. So let's get right into it. Let's start off with returns. This was one of the few times when there were days this week I had more returns than sales. But I want to spread some, what I'm going to call good cheer. I accept returns for 30 days for any reason, because that's what eBay wants us to do. My personal feeling is that it should be only 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks is plenty for you to know if there's a problem with your item, if it's the wrong size, wrong color, whatever. However, eBay in its infinite wisdom wants us to accept returns for 30 days. I will play ball. It's their sandbox. I will accept returns for 30 days. But pity the fool who tries to return anything past 30 days. I will decline that as fast as you can think. Now, this will be my 5th one in the last year that this has happened. You may remember the first 4, I automatically declined them. All 4 left me retaliatory negative feedback that I was able to get removed. 3 were easy, 1 was difficult, but I got it removed. Hey, if it comes down to it, I'll take the negative feedback. I'm not accepting returns over 30 days. Now, let me tell you a story that happened, and you guys are really going to crack a smile because it involves a geriatric. Not quite 2 months ago, I sold a brand new item on eBay. Brand new, flawless. I remember when I sold the item, it raised my eyebrows for 2 reasons. Number 1, the buyer could have clicked on best offer. I had the best offer option enabled, but he went and paid the full amount of $115 plus shipping. Okay, that's good news. The second thing was when I printed the label and I took one look at his name, I said, oh, Jesus, no, no, no. His first name was Howard. Do you guys know anybody under 80 years old named Howard? I know of only two, and I'm not counting Howard Johnson. There was Howard Cosell, and there was Howard Sprague, that guy on the show Mayberry RFD. Aside from those two, I've never known another Howard. I thought they were all extinct. I thought they all went the way of the dinosaur. Well, no, there's one left. So what happened is, this week, he tries to open a return 38 days after the purchase. And his reason for the return was, it wasn't what I thought it was. That's as ambiguous as you can get. I don't know if he thought he was getting 4 or what. I really don't. But like I said, wacko. Decline instantly. I declined it. If he leaves me a negative feedback, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Right now, in my pocket, I have $115, which is going to stay in my pocket right where it belongs. Talking about keeping money in my pocket where it belongs, I want to give you an update, which I've been meaning to do and I kept forgetting. You may remember about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I told you a story about how 3 people in 1 week tried to cancel after I printed the label and the tracking number was in the system. I will never accept a cancellation as long as I live when that label is printed. And you can take that to the bank. The outcome for those 3. The amounts in question were approximately $20, $50, $75. Out of those 3 who tried to cancel, only one person actually returned the item. And I'm sure you guys know which one it was, the $20 one. The other 2 not only kept the item, but both left me positive feedback. Moral of the story, I have another $125 in my other pocket that I wouldn't have had if I would have accepted the cancellations. This is why they call me the smart one. Cute Joey always makes money for his investors. I wonder how many of you recognize that line, what famous movie it was from. If you don't remember, in a few years from the same movie, I'll be able to say, I'm a retired investor living on a pension. Now you've got to recognize that line, right? Okay, so that's my update about cancellations and about returns. While I was setting up to film this video, do you know, I swear to Christ, I got yet another return? And, oddly enough, this one is for a $32 item in which all sales were final. I did not accept returns on this one. I went through the trouble of including the part number, the measurements, and I even took a picture of a tape measure with the item. And this stupid moron still bought the wrong size. I will be declining that as soon as I finish this video. Let us now change the topic a little bit. I came across an interesting post on Facebook the other day involving not just a bad buyer, but a bad seller in the same transaction. This one triggered me. I think it's going to trigger you because all you people are good sellers. And if there's one thing I've taught you, never give in to a bully. I'm going to tell you this story that is so disgusting, you may well throw up blood right on the floor. Okay? If any of you guys are a member of that group on Facebook, you saw what I said to that seller. All right? You saw my comment, okay? So anyway, here's what happened. A seller sold an item which I believe was clothing. Let's just say it was a blue sweater. The buyer gets the sweater and immediately starts tap dancing in eBay messages. And she said, the sweater arrived today, but it's really not blue like you said it was. It's turquoise. I'm very unhappy with this. I want half my money back or I'm going to leave you bad feedback. Okay? The seller then started out very reasonably and said, if you're not satisfied with the blue sweater, send it back. I'll give you a full refund. That is exactly what she should have said. The buyer then replied and said, listen, I don't have time to go to the post office. I'm not sending this back. In addition, your sweater smelled of cigarette smoke. And we don't smoke here in this house. This is disgusting. I'm going to have to take this to a dry cleaner. I want half my money back or I'm going to leave you bad feedback. The seller responded and said, listen, that sweater didn't smell of smoke. We don't smoke in this house either. However, my offer stands. Send it back and I'll give you a full refund. The buyer writes back, no, I don't have time to be playing games with you and I don't have time to return this and I'm not even going to respond anymore. If you don't give me half my money back within the next 2 hours or so, I'm leaving you bad feedback. Okay? What do you think the seller did? Now, I know what you're thinking. Now, see, this is a trick question. I got you on this one. I got you. How many of you guys said, I bet you she caved in and gave half her money back? Come on, admit it. They know. The answer's no. That's not what she did. Do you think she held her ground like a good seller should? Nope. She didn't give half the money back. She gave her all her money back and let her keep the item. What a jerk off. That seller is encouraging bad buyers to do that. And now this buyer knows she can get away with it. In fact, I'll be honest with you, I personally feel this bad buyer has done it many times in the past and is just like a snowball rolling down a hill, getting bigger and bigger. And she just steamrolled over this nut job. So I responded and I gave her a piece of my mind. I said, you're sick in the head. I said, not only should you not have given the whole thing, she didn't even ask for the whole thing. She asked for half, and you give her the whole thing? You're weak. I said, you're spineless. And she said, well, I did that to avoid getting negative feedback. But here's the punchline. Do you know the bad buyer left her negative feedback anyway, even after getting all her money back and being allowed to keep the item? Swear to Christ. It's a disgusting story, but now the buyer was out of line for what she did. There's no argument. It's her fault. But the seller was bad news. The seller is encouraging bad behavior, and anyone that's been watching my videos knows that the only thing a bully respects is a bigger bully. All right? The buyer would never have returned that sweater. Never. I have no respect for this seller whatsoever. It's disgusting. It's despicable that people are that weak. It's almost beyond my comprehension level. In fact, I got to stop the video. Let me just take a drink and calm down for a second. I don't know, guys. 26 years on eBay, you think you've seen it all, and then something like this comes into your line of sight. All right, next topic, lowball offers. I've been getting a crap load of offers of 25% of my asking price. And I'm talking for good, desirable items. I don't know where these people are coming off with these lowball offers. But I had a funny message that I have to share with you. A buyer wrote to me yesterday and said, "What is your best price with shipping to Germany?" The item in question was only $25 plus $8.75 USPS Ground Advantage. So, I always automatically block people like that. But before I blocked him, I decided to have a little fun. So I wrote back to him and said, "Just get it locally. At least you'll save a few dollars on shipping." And he wrote back to me and shocked me when he said, "I can't get it locally because everybody local wants 4 times the amount you want." Now that being said, why didn't he just spend the $25 instead of asking me what my best price was? All he did was earn himself a block. Now, I'm not done yet. Had he actually agreed and tried to buy the item for $25, he wouldn't have been able to, because I've been experiencing a problem for many, many months, if not years, with buyers from certain countries contacting me complaining they want my item, but they can't pay because the system won't let them. I've examined this, I've studied it, and I believe that there are certain countries that will not allow used auto parts to be imported, with Germany at the top of the list. And I've told this to the buyers, but yet then they'll respond to me and say, "Well, Joe, I've bought stuff from other eBay Motors sellers with no problem. You're the only one that's giving me the problem, and I don't know why." I called eBay Concierge, they looked at my account, they said everything's fine, but they said what I said. There are some countries that will not allow used auto parts to be imported, so apparently that's what the problem is. As I said earlier, I had one person this week send me a reasonable best offer, which I accepted because eBay told me I would be paid right away. Not only was I not paid right away, I wasn't paid at all. Not only that, to really rub salt in the wound, I checked the item. It did not appear in my pending payments. It's like it never happened. It's like the person never made me an offer. They don't get an unpaid item strike. I don't know where. I don't know what's going on. I blocked them just to play it safe. But that's another sale that I agreed to that will never come to fruition. In last week's video, I showed you 3 returns. The cheapest one was $9.60. And the person has to pay $8.75 shipping each way. And quite frankly, I honestly thought that once they went to buy the label and saw how much money they were going to lose, they would back out. I was wrong. They returned it for $9.60. I don't know, man. Words fail. I also had a person write to me through eBay messages yesterday on some hubs I was selling. And he says, "I want you to measure the depth of them and let me know the exact measurements." Here's your measurements right here. I never do that because it tells me they're trying to use the item for a purpose that it's not intended. I always write back by saying this: "No, thank you. Just get them locally. This way you can try them on your wheel to be sure they fit." Then I block them. So, as you probably know, I'm friends with a bunch of other sellers on eBay Motors, and we exchange screenshots on our phones of some of the stupid messages and requests we get. So I took this particular screenshot of the guy asking for the size and I sent it to a couple of friends of mine. And you know what they said? Oh my God, he contacted me too, asking me measurements just like it. He must be asking them from everybody on eBay Motors. Isn't that something? That this one customer would be going right down the line on eBay Motors, asking everyone to measure the depth. Guys, consider yourselves lucky if you do not sell in motors. Please. Sometimes I see posts, and I saw one the other day. A lady said something like, I've been selling on eBay Motors for 20 years, and I finally got my first return. I was like, did I just see that? She sells in collectibles, and she wanted advice how to proceed. Naturally, I chimed in, and I told her I get 3 to 5 returns per week, but lately it's actually been more. It's really bad lately. I also saw a post on Facebook regarding returns. Some other seller wrote in and she said, I sell on eBay, I sell on Mercari, I sell on Etsy, and one other one, whatever the other one was. She goes, the only platform I get returns on is eBay. I never get a return on the other platforms. It's just on eBay, almost like they're encouraging it. I don't think she sells in motors. I doubt that. But yeah, it's not been the best week. Sales have been very poor. Very, very poor. There was one day my grand total was $36. Can you imagine if I would have accepted that return from Howard? I would have been in the red. It's been bad. And it's not because of the stock market or the economy or any of that. No. I think there are internal problems. I really think that there's serious problems with search. I'm going by my personal feelings and the feelings of other sellers in some of the groups who have echoed the same sentiments. So yeah, I'm not going to keep you too long today, guys. No cutaways today. I will be back on Sunday with a New York City exploration video that's already been filmed. You'll see me out there in a winter coat and winter hat again. Cloudy, cold, rainy weather that we can't get rid of. And this Sunday, I'm happy to report, I plan to go out again if it doesn't rain. The video I have in mind is going to be a little bit difficult to make because I have to go to a really suspect area. And, I'm not going to tell you where it is yet. But it is concerning me because I have to leave the car somewhere I don't want to leave it. And then I have to go on foot for about a mile to get into what I'm going to call the bowels of the area that I want to get in. And it's quite sketchy, all right? And it's going to take a long time to film everything I need to film and take pictures and do the voiceover. But yeah, it's got to be done. I got nothing else to do Sunday. I might as well do that. Anyway, I'm Crazy New York Driver, you're not. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it informative and entertaining. And I hope you guys did well selling on eBay this week. Thank you for watching. Rock on and peace.